here on the main stage, we have another panel discussion. It's led by Monica Rossi. And with Monica today, we have Marco Milani and Massimo Ippolito. So, buongiorno, hello. I leave the stage to you guys, and I will see you in half an hour. Thank you for being here and talking to us about product development.
Thank you, Roberto. Thank you. So welcome, buongiorno, good morning, welcome everybody to today's session. Today's session is about developing new product, as also Roberto was introducing. But developing new product with a focus on human. We are hearing a lot lately talking about human-centric manufacturing, human-centric systems. So let's see what does it mean, and let's see how to develop such kind of a system. So today's topic is about developing a new product. Together with me, we have Marco Milani from Ideatec and Massimo Ippolito from Comau. And I would like to ask you guys, I would like to start from you, Marco, if you also want to give us a couple of insights about the company. So today, the ability to innovate and to develop truly human-centric products and services that are able to delight customers, either internal customers inside the company or outside the company, it's crucial for organization. But that's still a struggle for many organizations. So I would like to know, how do you guarantee that product that you launch are going to be delivered with the right value for your customer and in time?
Yeah, good morning. In Ideatec, we develop software, custom software. So we are addressing needs that are not covered by a solution coming from the shelf. And for us, agility is the paramount. Customer needs and expectation, awareness about the projects and desires, market, technology change dramatically during the progress of the project. And we need to ensure that at the end of the project, the customer will be satisfied. Of course, it's a matter of human being, because satisfaction is a matter of awareness and expectation. So we need to be quick adapting to the change. And in this, we also have a huge struggle, a huge challenge, because we always have customers that need an upfront quotation in terms of evaluation of the projects, even though the requirements and the desire are not well defined. And in these agilities is again the solution for us, because we can try to adapt our delivery during the progress of the projects to the changing environment. In this, we develop an agile methodology we call LEAK, because we need to take under control scope, effort, and time. And with the introduction I gave you, this is very difficult because the scope is always not well defined. And with this methodology, we try to manage with KPI our activities, and we can understand how agility is impacting costs and the results, all in order to satisfy and meet the desire at the end of the project.
Thank you very much. This is very exciting and challenging at the same time. Massimo, Comau is a quite different company compared to Ideatec, manufacturing, big enterprise. How do you ensure your organization creates products that generate value for people across the value chain, from your internal customer to the external customer?
Yes, thank you, Monica. Comau is a leading company in the industrial automation field at global level. So basically, we design and produce robot, machining center, and a robotized solution. So we have two levels of, let's say, solution that we develop. So something which is, let me say, invisible, and the measurement of the success is based mainly on the KPI, which are very usual in the assembly and in manufacturing production. And the second most important is how the user and how our customer use our product, and especially in the human-machine interaction. So in this case, it's a very also complex activity, because we have to measure and get close to the customer in order to deliver a product which satisfies the requirements, and especially when we create solutions that change the workplace condition. To do this, we work together with our customer, for example, or the end user, using a very well-known methodology, which is design thinking, which is also used to stimulate the creativity and the problem solving of our engineers, but also our customer and users.
Wow, that's very engaging. And let me go back to Marco. I imagine that also in such a kind of enterprise like your fresh and young, let's say, enterprise, also you leverage on kind of, you already mentioned agile, we guys mentioned already design thinking, and you mentioned the importance of the human rather than the customer or the people engaged. So you both talked a lot about the customer involvement, but I was also, before maybe we go a little better in depth on the methodology, but we pretty know agile. But I was thinking, are you also leveraging on emerging technologies to support the development of human-centric system?
Yes, in IdeaTech, we are absolutely aware about the need to keep the human at the center of everything we do. Humans are the main users of our products, of course, and every time we need to design something completely new. Even though there are some patterns, recurring patterns, every time we develop a new application, we need to think of the users that at the end would be using our application. And we cannot, of course, neglect innovation. That for us means doing more, better, faster. And we have also an additional constraint that we put ourselves in our projects, even though the customer usually is not aware about, is the longevity of an application we develop. Because we want to be sure that in the long term, the value we deliver to the customer, that is in the end the value that the user gets from our application, will be constant even when the technology, the environment, and the trends change compared to the technology we had when we developed initially the application. In this, we need to define methodology to ensure this. We need to find out what technology relying on, because the technology are changing so fast. Nowadays, of course, we cannot neglect AI. Of course, AI is a trending topic, a buzzword sometimes, but in our industry is a catalyst for the future trends in the software we develop. And I think there are two main streams that are going on in companies like ours, but probably in any companies using AI at the moment. One is the personal productivity. So how AI can change the way we develop. And in this is crucial, even in this is crucial, how human is the center in the center of this relationship. And the second stream is how companies leverage on AI to develop new business models, new processes. These are two completely different things, in my opinion, and should be managed in different way. In terms of personal productivity, AI is the amplifier of skills. No skills means no results in the end, because it's an amplifier. I think we are very far from the situation in which AI will take over human being. At the moment, we can stay sure and calm, because it's just an additional tool we have in our hands to do more, better, and faster. And the effects are quite clear, already quite clear. In our company, we have started using AI as a copilot. We are developing. Is a good tool to help us to develop faster and better. But of course, as I said, we are far from the AI that we develop entire software application by itself. The human is still important, and I think it will be always important because it's the human that decide where the AI should aim to obtain and achieve some kind of tangible results. On the other hand, there is the new process and new business models. And in this, I think we had a big challenge, is the challenge of reproducibility, reproducibility, and predictability of the results. Because as a company, if you wanted to provide something to the customers, you have to be sure that AI goes in the right direction. We know that sometimes there are problems in this, there is hallucinations, there is the wrong decisions, and how we can manage this is the challenge at this time. In IdeaTech, so we are using AI as a co-pilot and brainstorming. This is a good way to analyze new projects, define new requirements that can be also enlarge the boundaries of a project. And we started to develop products based on the AI. One is the AI-driven knowledge management, a way of managing the knowledge of a company, the processes, the knowledge base, and using AI to support the users. That is, again, the main target of this beneficial technology, to go through the documentation, a new way of reading documentation, a new way to get in touch with the important part of the process of the company. And another tool is an agile Scrum management tool, is a way of co-piloting us, again, human being, to drive better agile processes. So we are using AI to understand better how we can define the backlog, what are the stories that are more important. We are using AI to define the acceptance criteria of the stories. So it's a way of being faster and more reliable in producing something that we already did alone as a human being, that are an important part of our development process.
Thank you very much, Marco. You raised very interesting points. Unfortunately, we only have half an hour, but we will use all of it to discuss about these important things. So the human in the middle, the user in the middle, either is people who develops the software or who is going to use the software. And you said a very interesting thing, and then of course I hope we can also go back to that, but it gives me an idea. You said that we develop with artificial intelligence. We don't have the artificial intelligence that develop for us. Of course, artificial intelligence is doing part of the job for us, but we still need the human. And this is also a switch that we saw a few years ago, Massimo, when, you know, we moved from robots to cobots, and maybe someone was thinking, oh, well, now the cobots or the robot is going to take my place. Like now the artificial intelligence, we are thinking the artificial intelligence is going to take my place, you know, so people, we're going to be replaced. No, we're going to be helped. So I think it's very important. And this switch, physically, we saw it with cobots, Massimo, right, in the past. Yeah. So I would like to ask you exactly the same. How you guarantee that the system that you develop, also the way you develop systems, so in your own factory, but also you design and provide systems for others. And these systems are really important. I mean, interacting a lot with the humans, because they also in terms of human safety and so on. So how do you mentioned design thinking earlier. So I would like to know, yes, this kind of innovative, or let's say the more creative technique that you use, that maybe we think we don't need such creative technique in cobots, but you actually, I know your story and we do. So can you tell us a little bit more about this? Some example.
You're right, especially in this, in this new task where we use technology in order to help the user. We have used, and sometimes we use, the design thinking methodology in order to, you say, user is in the center of the design. I mean, we don't say customer, I would say user. So we have involved the final user. And for us, the final user are the workers. So we have created the specific design thinking session, and I can give you a couple of examples. So when we have introduced, for example, the smartwatch, and we give a smartwatch to the workers in order to do some task during the assembly operation, and when we design the exoskeleton. So in this case, we get together and we design the solution together with the final user, so the workers, because the workers were and are generally the real expert in this domain. So we get together user, workers, and designer. And the intervention was very, I mean, very creative, and the workers were very happy because we started with an intervention of a couple of days of design thinking training. So at the very beginning, we transfer the design thinking methodology and tools to both the designer and the user, so the workers. Then we leave user and designer to start to generate this macro concept. So they get together and they start to work in order to generate some concepts or some idea. So for example, in the smartwatch experience, we didn't say we want to generate something or an application that run on a smartwatch. They leave to them, designer and workers, the choice, the opportunity to select the best solution, a tablet or a monitor or a smartphone or a smartwatch. And then they started to work together, starting also from some example of observation of the task they do every day. And they started to generate this concept. Then we leave to the workers and to some designer the opportunity to observe in the real life. So in this case, in the assembly production. So we leave designer and workers to play with a different tool for a couple of weeks, and then we get together again. We see some progress, what they have understood from observation. We redesign, for example, some concept to arrive at the end at the final, let me say, requirements and the concept of product that we have, of course, give in the end of the designer, and they started to create the final solution. So this was very important for both, for the designer, but also for the user to, try this approach, trial and error, together, learning from failure. So trying some concept that doesn't work and improve concept which are and work better, not only for the designer, but also for the final user. And this was very important also to, create these interdisciplinary teams. So where the competencies of the designer get together with the competencies of the workers. And this was a very, very useful experience and way to work in order to put the user at the center of this design process. So this happened, as I say, when, and the cobot, for example, is an example, when you have a very, let me say, if you want, heavy human-machine interaction. When we have to design and deliver solution for the user. So in the past, the idea was that the designer create a solution based on some requirements and then give the solution to the final user. And the final user, of course, doesn't recognize the final solution as the solution they need. So in this case, we put the user and the workers in the middle of this process. So in the center, if you want, of this process. And we create a team that involves both designer and user. And we generate these two examples. The exoskeleton is also a very powerful example where the exoskeleton is more than a cobot, is a wearable robot. And this was a very useful example on how you can say really the user is at the center of the design process, and the designer try to help the user to do this kind of, let's say, generation of solution.
Thank you, Massimo. I think that we have also a question. That's amazing. We have a question from the audience. I just wanted to say that I noticed from your intervention, guys, that you both raise the point and the importance of the user, the designers, the workers, but also their skills. So at the end, if I have to kind of wrap up a little what you told me, that we can use the method we want. I don't want to answer the question later. I will also read the question, but partially go also in that direction. But the point is the involvement of the people in our value chain. Either they are the final customer or the user or the developers. So it's very important to understand their needs, but also to enhance their creativity and leverage on their expertise. Also, you, Massimo, mentioned many times multifunctional skills. So the diversity in the team, it's very important to provide a different point of view, so to be a little bit more open to better and more innovative solution. And you, Marco, also mentioned the skill, the expertise, the ability to retrieve knowledge with the help of the artificial intelligence, but then the people are going to use the knowledge. So engagement, early engagement, and constant engagement of a diversified people, I would say it looks like the key to still be able to develop products despite which technology age we are. We have a question. I will read the question, and I will leave you, Massimo and Marco, to have a few. Maybe we follow the order that we follow so far, but feel free. So design thinking, lean, artificial intelligence, Scrum, Agile, there is so much out there, you know. In the world of engineering, how well do they interact with one another? So the interaction of methods, of way of thinking or approaches.
Mm-hmm.
I go first.
Yeah.
I think they are all well connected. Even though I would say I am a strong believer that AI is just a booster. So the process is efficient and reliable by itself without AI, and indeed it worked already without AI. With AI, can be improved, can be accelerated. It can be a boost. The AI can be a boost. They are all interconnected. Agile Scrum is mainly the process, and design thinking probably is the core part of the design. And in any industry, probably is the most effective way of trying to achieve the perfect, at least the good enough result that you wanted to achieve.
Yeah, same in my case. So design thinking and then agile, I mean, in some application, they works will interact, especially in the idea of the sprint. And in this case, for us, for example, in the example I did, we work together a couple of days, then we leave the user and the designer to observe, understand the first concept, if it works or not. Then we get together again, like in a form of sprint. Sometimes this agile methodology doesn't work well in project where you have a very heavy mechanical design part, because mechanical design is differently from software. When you started to create some physical object and you define some let's say, tools and other equipment, I mean, you cannot manage this doing sprint. But in general, when we are in the concept phase, so in the generation of concept, they interact very well. Artificial intelligence for us is another area. So many robotics applications now are equipped with artificial intelligence, are embedded in robotics application, but not in our case, not in the concept generation. So the artificial intelligence is used as enabling technology, for example, to recognize object when the robot have to get and grasp some object, to I don't know, try to understand by visual analysis if the quality of the product which is generated by an assembly, automatic assembly, is good or not, etc., etc. But not during the, let me say, concept generation. This is concept generation is human activity, which involve, as I say, which involve both the designer and the final user. So the difference here is that, which is not the customer, is the final user. Then could be the final user of the customer, of course. But sometimes you can also use your colleagues as a final user. So they are not involved in the design, but for example, they are workers, which are part of the assembly production system of each company, which is involved, for example, in the manufacturing.
Thank you both, guys. It comes in my mind that at the end is a matter of way of doing things. The way we do things is very important. So our basic thinking, our culture, the company culture in develop new solution. Not all the heavy mechanical company, Massimo, engaged as you did to develop catch-up. Please.
There is another point that I mentioned, I forgot to mention, which is the training. The important part of this experience is that we train both user and designer. So we don't leave simply the tools, design thinking tools, to both and say, okay, use it. No, we started with the training. So we started to train the user and the designer to understand this methodology before to apply. So part of our work, for example, as in my case in Comau Academy, was to train both this interdisciplinary team in order to know how to use the tools that we deliver to them. This is an important task and very important for the rest of the work.
We go back here to people expertise that we can develop, people culture, and also the simplicity of people involvement only when the people involvement in the right way, like in order to understand, in order to get good results, it's very important that we create the basis, we create the common thinking inside the organization to understand what are we doing, why are we doing things, and then, as Marco was saying, the tools, the methods will just boost our process. We have another input from the audience. Thank you, Rene. Rene didn't ask a question, but he was thanking you guys for sharing all of your learning. I thank you again, Marco and Massimo, for being here with me today, with us. And guys, listening to this presentation, anytime, I think you can reach out to them for in-depth discussion. And by the way, I see that, Roberto, is that a real background or is it a fake background? I was wondering, like, are you really there?
I'll leave you wondering. I will leave you wondering if it's real or not.
All right. So you were partying all night.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much.
You are taking a sandwich at 4 a.m. in the morning, like we used to do when we used to go dancing. Thank you, Roberto, for having us here. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for a wonderful discussion, guys. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.